everyone. Welcome to Geeks Talking Geek. I am Bambino Bane, well-rounded nerd, the Spider-Man fan, and the Warhammer noob. And to my, well, right or left, whatever, is our resident Brit in Japan. He's you see him in Weird Science comics. He also likes to talk about literature and comic books. He is the Japanese AI. Great. Welcome,
Oh my
Sashi.
god. I can't believe that's become like a meme, hasn't it? That's
Yeah,
Jim's fault. Jim's made me a Japanese AI.
I'm never gonna let that down.
How you doing, man? It's good to be here. Good to be talking some geek, some comics and stuff. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about some comic book news that has come down the pipeline, some recent developments, and we are going to talk about the rumors that Doctor Who might be shelved after 20 years. So, but first, let's with some comic book news.
There's been a lot of news, hasn't there, this week, this
Yeah,
weekend? Yeah.
yeah. Let's go through some quick comic book news. Now, the first one I want to bring up is 1 second. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, Eric O'Sullivan won't be joining us.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's good news for him, isn't it? Does that mean he may be having a good night tonight?
Yeah. Sully, if you're watching this on replay, hope you have a good time. Good time
Yeah.
wherever you are. And Sylph, I know you're not feeling well. I know you wanted to be here. He's one of my friends. He was here last time. He's one of my friends. He's a big D&D fan, and I have him on there to discuss tabletop.
Oh, cool.
So, Sylph, I know you wanted to be here. Get well soon. Kenzo, you're probably knocked out from the painkillers, but get well soon. Get well soon, guys. I hope to see you guys next time. Next time we're on Geek Talk. We're doing some Geek Talk. All right. The first one I wanna go over is Donny Cates is returning to comic books. Now I don't know if you heard this, but like Donny Cates put on Instagram that he's coming back to comic books. And one of the things that he says that he's working on a project right now, and he says if he gets the right project, I will buy you the first issue. And he put the hashtag kids love chains, and that could be anything from right now.
Kids love chains or
Mm-hmm.
change chains.
Chains,
My goodness, it's not Spawn, is it?
maybe.
I
Or
don't know why that's the first thing in my head.
I thought Spawn too, but it also may be absolute. He might be working in the absolute, going into all NDC,
Oh wow.
doing Lobo, and I like this with Donny Cates. He takes like certain comic book, lesser known comic book characters, and he will expand their universe or go in and do his research and expand on the lore that was in the past. And it's always like one of the great things to see him. I mean, his Thanos run, his Hulk, didn't really like his Hulk run, but
No.
I did like his Venom run. The
Yeah,
King in
me too.
the King in Black and Absolute Carnage. Thought those are two of the best highlights in this Venom run. Yeah, and
I
I
like.
don't care. I don't care what Wes from Thinking Critical says. I do like Null.
Yeah, he's a decent villain.
Yeah,
They should have
and
used him more in the last Thor movie, which, by the way, I haven't
yeah,
watched. So,
I haven't watched it either. And that's mainly because they want to. I think like I don't know. I don't like Ta-Nehisi Coates' way of telling comic book stories. But the next one, like I would think like it's either going to be Spawn or Lobo.
interesting.
Like I don't know if he'll take over I don't know who's right now who right now is writing the Scorched, or he may do another Spawn character.
I think it might be. I'm going off memory here. I think the Scorched is John Layman, but I'm not sure. Not 100%.
Yeah, because right now they're doing a new series, which I love, of Deadly Tales of Gunslinger Spawn.
Oh,
Which,
okay. Are you enjoying that?
yeah, I'm enjoying this because this is like old west Spawn set in the old west. So I'm enjoying that one, and like I do like Sam and Twitch because it's like a I do like CSI. I do like watching CSI and Law and
Oh,
Order,
really?
and yeah, and I love seeing this detective set like story set in the Spawn universe. Even though it's like has some supernatural elements, they're not too big. They're
Mm.
not too big. I know you did not like Sam and Twitch, but I enjoyed it. I like the Scorched as well. I always say this: whenever Spider-Man lets me down, I can always turn to Spawn to give me a good story.
Yeah, I'm only reading The Scorched these days. I should check out the Deadly Tales of Gunslinger because I want to see him in the West, the Old West. I think it suits him there, doesn't it? It
Yeah,
doesn't seem to work in the modern setting, not
yeah.
as much.
I mean, I did like the opening, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still reading it, and
Oh, yeah.
like he does have flashbacks to the old west, and we're going, we're still, I still would love to see would love to see more of this, like his origins in the old west.
Yeah, yeah. I was reading them all, wasn't I? If you remember a few years
Yeah,
ago with the relaunch of the Spawn universe, but now it's only the Scorched. I think is a lot of fun.
yeah,
Scorched is a really well done team book.
yeah. I'm still reading most of the Spawn books. I mean, I do like the Violator,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I had a good laugh with Spawn kills every Spawn.
Bandito, did you ever read Donny Cates's one of his indie works? It was called God Country, and it was basically his take on a Thor character before he was working for Marvel. That's how he
Yeah,
got
I
into
heard
him.
about that.
That was good. That's worth a read.
I heard about that, but I've only known it from like the NBC bastardized version
Oh,
of
did
the
did they make a
series.
show? I didn't even
Yeah,
know they'd made one. No way.
yeah, they made a show about God Country, and like it was like I know the premise is a small town in America where all the pagan gods are now living, and that's why they call it God Country.
Yeah, it was
So
pretty good.
yeah,
Just like
I,
a
I
mini series, limited series.
yeah, I'll check it out. But I mean, if he does go back to Marvel,
Mm.
I would think that, because they're teasing that Venom and Peter are going to, they're teasing like in Legacy number, Amazing Spider-Man Legacy number 975, which is going to be issue 11, that Venom and Peter are going to bond again. And I would think like he would, and with Peter using using chains, I would
Mm.
think he would probably be doing some of the offshoot of Spider-Man again. But that's
Do you
just a
think he's
guess.
going to go back to Spider-Man because that's supposedly one of his favorite characters, isn't it?
Yeah,
I wonder.
yeah, and plus I met Donny Cates. He is a great guy. I met him at Fan Expo, and
Mm.
yeah, he's clean. He's clean. He's sober. I got to talk to him. I got to talk to him about Venom. I got to talk to him about Spider Man, and like one of the things that I loved it at, because when we started talking about, like, I was talking about the ultimate run, and then I talked about the last run, the Zeb Welch run, and I'm like, yeah, I did not like that one, especially when they introduced Paul. I literally saw him roll his eyes, and he's
I think
like,
only Nick Lowe likes that character, and then we can't tell if he's even being serious or not. If he's just saying that to troll the fans. What do you reckon?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I seriously think it's a self-insert.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
people say that. Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah, and like even I even met another artist who works at Marvel, and I'm like, yeah, and I told him that, and he's like, yeah, I can see that, because it's just
Diff-
like,
It doesn't look exactly like him. It's different hair color. He's got the man bun, the dark hair,
yeah,
glasses, but the way he acts, I don't know. It's just yeah. There's something about
yeah,
it
it's
where
supposed to be. It's like he's better than Peter. He's more confident than Peter. He's richer than Peter. More dependable than Peter. He has a sadder backstory than Peter, and it's what makes him insufferable because he was put on a pedestal every issue he was in. And that was like Nick Lowe jacking himself off. So I was like, oh God, can we just kill this guy off already? But
So
I mean,
Bandito, can I ask you about the
sure.
the current Spider-Man run? If you're comparing it to Zeb Wells, what do you think of Joe Kelly and mainly Justina Ireland so far? She's been doing more of the issues, hasn't she?
Yeah, right now they did a five issue split between them. But right now, like Justina Ireland is doing these 2 issues, and the last 2 issues are going to be done by Joe Kelly.
Okay, he's coming back for the last two, is he? Eight
Yeah,
Deaths of Spider-Man, which feels like it's been
yeah.
going on forever to me.
Well, it's going to be a 12 issue series.
Okay.
What 12 issue series with 10 issues in the main run and 2 offshoots
Yeah,
written by two other creators, other writers. And I did not like the last 3
I
because
didn't.
it was like Spider-Man saw everybody die, and then he got so depressed that he didn't want to do anything. And I know Eric likes playing devil's advocate, but it's like at the end and at the end he didn't do anything, and then he got shocked when everybody died, and the other lady, he was like, but they don't die here. I saw how they die, and she's like, it was just a prank, brah.
Oh man, it's so I don't know. Yeah, I think it's so bad. It's such a bad story right now. It's got no stakes. There's no meaning to it, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
well, besides the fact that it's like this is something that Doctor Strange does every year to keep Krotak from just sitting on his throne. So he has to defeat his 8 children.
It's the first we heard of it, isn't it? As well, it's like, where's this come from? This is
Yeah,
news to us. Didn't know
yeah,
Doctor Strange is so busy.
yeah. And so it's instead of like having him on there, having him do this, where it's you know, he it's instead of and now that Doom Sorcerer Supreme, he's like, let Spider-Man do it. I'm busy removing Reed Richards from the timeline.
That's crazy. Yeah, Doctor Doom should be taking responsibility, but hey, it's Doctor
Yeah,
Doom, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, Doom is such a great villain, and I thought it was just like a smart way of how he became Sorcerer Supreme. But because Doctor Strange became a vampire, and he gave him the mantle to Doctor Doom, and then after Strange got cured, he's like, okay, give it back. And Doctor Strange's like, give what back? I kept saying how this is like an episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns had $1 trillion bill, and he went to Cuba, met Fidel Castro. He said Fidel Castro was like, "Can I look at it?" And he actually handed it to him, and then he's like, "Now give it back. Give what back?"
$1 trillion bill.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, this is so like I'm right now with the solicitations out. I'm like hesitant to see what else Joe Kelly will do with Spider-Man, because one of the things is that Itsy Bitsy, I never character that was introduced into Dan Slott run during the Dan Slott run is coming back, and the original Green Goblin Ned Leeds is coming back.
Okay.
So that was the villain that they said that hasn't been seen in 10 years. because the Hobgoblin, the original Hobgoblin, came back, but that was because the last Hobgoblin that was here was actually Betty Brant's husband, who was brainwashed in Zeb Wells' run.
Yeah.
And but we'll get more into Spider-Man later, but right now,
okay,
there's going to be with Chip Zdarsky's last run, there's going to be a new news writer, and I saw this with Wes on Thinking Critical, and I have no idea who this writer is. Do you?
Yeah, I was talking about it on my stream last night. Matt Fraction, he's probably most famous for his limited Marvel Hawkeye run. He did like a short Hawkeye run, and then he's done a lot of indie work. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Sex Criminals that Chip Zdarsky does the art for. He was doing that. So he's also, his claim to fame, I guess it's not a claim to fame, is he's the husband of Kelly Sue DeConnick, Bandito.
Oh, yeah. I have heard of him. He also wrote Superman's Best Friend, Jimmy Olsen, which
he did that. A lot of people, I didn't like that.
A lot of people say that was underrated. I haven't read it.
It won an Eisner, but I don't know what it won it for. It was just goofy for being goofy's sake. But he also apparently did quite a good Iron Man run, which I've not read. That's going back a bit.
So, like, I just hope this isn't just so. I hope just that, like, no. Now that knowing that Matt Fraction is going to be doing Batman, I just hope this isn't a way to get Kelly Sue DeConnick into DC.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's an interesting announcement. It kind of surprised me. I was wondering who was going to be writing it. There were rumours, who it could be Dan Watters, who's doing something else at the moment, the Batman Dark Patterns. But yeah, Matt Fraction. It is a surprise. So I'm pretty optimistic. It's a new voice for Batman, so we'll see how it does. But they're keeping the same artist. They're keeping. Oh my God, is it? I have to check it now. I want to say Javier Fernandez, but I think that's a Spawn artist.
Yeah, I mean,
Jorge Jimenez. That's it. Jorge Jimenez is right. He's going to be art. He's staying on art. So
yeah. And I actually love Jorge Jimenez art.
Me too. I really like his style. Yeah.
I mean, you remember his Nemesis, the art he did for Nemesis.
Yes, that was awesome. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love. One of the things I love about Mark Millar is that he knows how to pick his artists. Because I think he got Pepe Larraín for Big Game.
Yeah, Pepe Larraín was really good in that, wasn't he? Great.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see. I saw the preview that he had for Spider-Man #1, and it just looks great. His art is on point. I'm glad that if anything, I'm glad that they have Pepe Larraín on art in Amazing Spider-Man. But let's see, what else do we have? Oh yes. Recently, I went to my comic book store, and one of the things I like to do is get some comic books that fell off the back of the truck. If you get my meaning. Last Friday, I went there to pick up the Herculoids #1 because Dynamite, who have been doing a great job with these Hanna-Barbera and Paramount or Warner Warner licenses. They announced that they were going to do 3 more this year: Silverhawks, Captain Planet, and the Herculoids. And the Herculoids, I actually got Silverhawks, and I'm enjoying it. It has the artists from nice. It's like a RoboCop motif. It's got like a RoboCop motif as well as great art from the artists who did the Gargoyles comic book. And the next one was going to be the Herculoids, which was supposed to come out this Wednesday, except it never came in. And that's because Diamond, the bankruptcy of Diamond. next week we're just, and it's going to be that way. That friend, friend who owns the comic book shop, says it's going to be that way for a while until they figure out. I mean, he says that right now they're selling they're selling what they have, hopefully to make up their money. And so like Diamond is going to be, every time I'm going to see something up, it's going to be delayed. So like it's going to be delayed for at least 2 weeks. So like anything from Udon Press, I mean Blood Moon Comics just closed their doors because of it.
Really?
Yeah. And so this, like I told this to Sully and my friend Self, and I keep bringing this up, that especially with right now with Diamond's bankruptcy, the comic book comic books are going to be delayed for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to worry about that if you're in Japan.
No, that's true. But it must really suck, if you can't get your comics regularly on a Wednesday or a Thursday like you used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like speaking about Dynamite, one of the things that I am excited for is, I don't know if you read any of the Space Ghost or Johnny Quest. They're going to do a crossover between them.
I've been reading Space Ghost. I need to catch up. I'm up to about issue 6, I think. But yeah. It's surprisingly, it's really good, isn't it? I don't know the character, Bandito.
Yeah, well, the only thing I know about Space Ghost was from the Adult Swim cartoon Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Okay.
But the only one the only really Dynamite comic book I got into, like, I did read the Space Ghost free comic. I did get the free comic book day of Johnny Quest and Space Ghost. But the one that I've been keeping up with are the Thundercats, because I'm a big Thundercats fan. I'm enjoying the series so far. Didn't like the Chitara one, but the Chitara one was all right. Wasn't that big. I did like Thundercats Apex because it was like a grim, dark future of Third Earth, and it just I am liking it. What's going on so far in Thundercats? But one of the big events that's going to happen right now is a crossover between Johnny Quest and Space Ghost called Space Quest. So like they got their 2 most popular ones from Dynamite, and they're going to have them do a crossover event.
Yeah. Space Ghost again. I say I've been reading that. Johnny Quest, no exposure to that apart from the name. So yeah, is it any good? Is a Johnny Quest comic been decent?
I haven't read any of the Johnny Quest comics.
No.
We may have to talk to Sully about that one.
Yeah. Let's have a look. The comic.
Yeah. Let me pull it up. Pull it up.
Speaking of going to your local comic shop, I got this the other day, delivered from Tokyo. This is a facsimile, Bandito. It's not the original, of course. I wish it was. Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
129 with the Punisher.
The facsimile?
First appearance. Yeah,
I got that one too.
Evil Knievel on the back. Fantastic. Used to love these toys.
Yeah. Oh, I talked about this last time we were here. The facsimile of Sandman #8 was actually canceled.
Oh, right. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. I'm not sure about the art in this, but it's good. It's fun. It's a good story.
Yeah. I love that. I love that one.
Ross Andrews, the artist. I've never heard of him before, but it's Jerry Conway on script, so fantastic.
Good old Jerry. Before he went too liberal. All right.
Really?
Yeah. All right. So I got some.
Yeah. What have we got?
All right.
Johnny Quest. So issue 1 came out in December 2024. That was the publication date.
Yeah.
Just checking what we've got.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the art, so I want to see what that's like for it. Let's have a look. Okay.
Yep.
That's a shame. I'm on the Dynamite homepage, but they
Yeah.
don't have digital on offer, unfortunately.
Okay, so it's going to be Joe Casey and Sebastian Perez who are going to be doing this one.
Okay, cool. Joe Casey, that could be good.
Yeah, so we got number 1 should be out in like depending on well, Joe Casey is known for doing Adventures of Superman and Wildcats. So yeah, he did. We got some good, and we do like the variant covers. So it should be coming out in March next month.
Yeah, that's right. It's out next month. Okay. Are you definitely going to pick this up if you can get hold of it? Physical copy?
If I can, I will pick this up. Because I've been hearing a lot of things. Like Wes has been really digging Space Ghost, and
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything from Johnny about Johnny Quest, but I do know one of the things Dynamite has been doing great with is just keeping it in brand with these characters, while giving them a more mature setting. Because you got to remember, these were cartoons when they first started. I don't know if anybody remembers Toonami, but that was like the first time I heard of Space Ghost and Johnny Quest. But like these were once cartoons, and now they're giving them a more mature theme. So like I would like to see where this one goes. Technical difficulties, Gray?
Yeah, I thought I'd better put my ring light on. I've got the overhead light on for a change, because otherwise it's too dark in here, but that's better. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Johnny Quest, I've got no real knowledge of the character, but if it's a decent crossover, I will definitely give it a read, give it a shot. As you say, Joe Casey, I don't know him that well, but I've read some things by him.
Like, it says so that he did The Adventures of Superman and Wildcats. So he's probably a veteran from DC.
He also did you ever read the Kneel Before Zod? Like, it's kind of a Superman miniseries at the end of last year. It was okay. It wasn't great, but yeah, pretty good for like space set action.
Yeah.
So I know him from that. And
I kind of want to see where this one goes, because I mean, Johnny Quest is like very grounded in reality, while Space Ghost is very heavy sci-fi. So yeah. I want to see where this one goes. All right.
Adito, are you reading the Flash Gordon series at the moment by Jeremy Adams?
No, I haven't read any of the Flash Gordon ones. I did pick.
It's from Mad Cave. It's like a smaller publisher, Mad Cave Studios, but it's actually it's been really good for a similar kind of space fantasy, pulpy fantasy.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of the Conan series.
Mm,
I am enjoying that one,
yeah,
and
that's been good.
I learned that the Titan Press, people who does Conan, they're going to be doing Solomon Kane, who is my favorite character from one of my favorite characters from Robert E. Howard.
Oh, really? You like
Yeah,
Solomon Kane, yeah?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have the entire work of Robert E. Howard of Solomon Kane on audiobooks. I I even watched the lesser known Solomon Kane movie that came out in 2012.
I've heard that's actually meant to be better than, people say. It's
Yeah,
what do you call it? A neglected, decent movie.
yeah. And the thing was that it was supposed to get a studio nationwide release, but it didn't get it. Did the studio couldn't secure any rights for any damn US.
You're all right,
Sorry.
don't worry about it.
Yes.
2009 sword and sorcery film based on the pulp character. Yeah. Okay. I still haven't seen it though. Would you recommend it? Would you recommend watching it?
Very good, very swashbuckly, very,
Cool.
very dark fantasy, very pulpy, very pulp fiction, pulp, 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 pulp magazine like.
Yeah, yeah. So it got the character pretty well, did it?
Yeah, and this is supposed to be like the origins to Solomon Kane. Like if you're familiar with the stories of Solomon Kane, this is supposed to be his origin story.
Okay.
All right, so
Did you read Bandito? Did you read the Savage Sword of Conan? There was like a mini series of Solomon Kane by Patrick Zurcher. He was doing it. He was writing and drawing it. I
yeah,
think it was in the first three issues, maybe.
yeah, I do have the Savage Sword of Conan. Savage Sword of Conan. I do love the Savage Sword of Conan because they printed it like if it was a pulp magazine.
Yeah, like the old magazine format. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was good. The art in that was really good. I love
yeah,
the black and white art by Zurcher.
yeah. But I'm gonna hopefully pick that up. So Solomon Kane is like
Mm,
one of the things that I'm looking forward to this year. All right,
yeah.
so let's go to some of the bigger news, like
Okay.
uh, Marvel. They did it again. It's breaking the status quo with a dumb idea. I don't know if you heard about it.
I've heard the headline. That's all. I've not really read much of the story.
Yeah,
Gwen? You talk about Gwen? Good old Gwen.
this is the thing. They keep going on and on and on and on and on about keeping the status quo with Spider-Man. But I mean, them bringing back Gwen Stacy from the dead. It's going to be it makes her death meaningless. I mean, her death was one of the most important parts in comic book history, but now
Mm.
I just throw it away. Forget it. What about Spider Gwen? I mean, you guys basically did so much to bring her to the 616 universe. You're gonna forget about her, and you're gonna bring her back as Gwenpool. What about the current Gwenpool? You know, Heather Antos' self-insert. I don't.
Ah, Jesus.
I mean, this is one thing that WotC said. I saw his video about it. The This is one thing that he said. You're going to piss off the Spider-Man fans. You're going to piss off
Mm.
the Gwenpool fans, and you're going to piss off the Gwen Stacy fans. This is just. I
I
mean,
know nothing about the character Gwenpool. Has that character appeared before, or is this a
this is
brand new character?
Heather Antos. Uh, I Heather Antos created a character called Gwenpool,
Okay.
which was basically a her self insert, but it was basically someone from our reality. Excuse me, goes to the Marvel reality, and because she's a comic book geek, she knows everything that's going to happen. So she's basically breaking the fourth wall. But she was
Hmm.
basically a niche character.
Yeah.
a niche character, and the only a lot of people will think of Gwenpool. They think of Jeff the Land Shark, and that character became more famous than her. But it's
Is
just
that
so
one of Sully's favourite characters at the moment, isn't
yeah.
it? Jeff the Land Shark. I'm only joking, Sully.
Yeah, but it's just so stupid. They're going to bring her back. They're going to make her an amalgamation of Wolverine and Deadpool, and they're going to let me.
Why? What's that got to do with the original character of Gwen Stacy? Just crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, that's like so far. So far, the things have been there have been so many things going on. Like these are from Screen Rant. There have been so many articles coming out, and like even Screen Rant and CBR have been saying that this is a bad idea. I mean, here, this is
Yeah, that headline
there.
sums it up, doesn't it?
There are things we want for Spider-Man, but Gwen Stacy's return is not one of them.
Is not one of them.
All right,
No way.
all right. What do Spider-Man fans want from the franchise if not Gwen Stacy returns? Readers cite Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr.'s 2022 and 24 Spider-Man run as the low point. And why do Spider-Man fans not want Gwen Stacy to make her contemporary comic book comeback? Marvel fans want the Spider-Man franchise to progress, not regress. All right, Marvel might not have moved on from Gwen Stacy, but the Spider-Man franchise has. Publishers have to acknowledge that. All right, and that's just one.
Just
That's
reading
just,
the Marvel page, it's like, oh my god, it's really bigging it up. Gwen Stacy is back and she's here to slay in a new comic book series, back and more dangerous than ever. It's going to be written by Cavan Scott from Star Wars: The High Republic, and the art, where are we? Let's take the artist. Art is by Stefano Nessi, who I don't know.
and this is the thing. That every time they need to do a throwaway character, they need to do a throwaway character. They just bring where they not they just bring oh god. I know Sully's not going to let me down once he sees this headline. But they just bring when they ever need to do like to do a controversial comic, they just bring they just bring in another character. They just bring a writer from the Star Wars series, from the Star Wars comic books, because they're like the minor leagues over there.
It just sounds like they've got no new ideas. They're saying this is a great thing, but they're going to basically give her Weapon X style powers, abilities, and also
Look at that. Just
Deadpool's healing ability. They're going to make her invincible, aren't they?
Look at this.
Of course they are.
All right. Marvel refuses to let Gwen Stacy go, and her resurrection proves it. Gwen Stacy constant comebacks demonstrates Marvel's problem. Gwen Stacy's revival shows that that death means nothing in comic books. Spider-Man's first love is following in Bucky Barnes' infamous footsteps. But that's the problem. They wrote Winter Soldier as a good character.
Absolutely. That was a big difference.
All right, and this is the current Gwenpool. All right, Gwen Stacy is getting her own series, but it should have been given to Gwenpool. Gwenpool should have her own character, not Gwen Stacy, not a Gwen Stacy stand-in. All right. Gwen Stacy deserves to rest her peace for her sake and for Spider-Man. Spider-Man needs to move on from Gwen Stacy, not live in the past. And this is the one thing that people have been saying. Spider-Man Spider-Man needs to grow the hell up as a character. And the thing is that Marvel fans want Spider-Man to grow up. Everyone wants to see Spider-Man grow up. But Marvel wants to keep Spider-Man in this constant state of safe of being miserable and not having any type of self-growth. So everybody else in Spider-Man's life can move on. Like his friend Rodney can get married. Mary Jane can leave him for another douchebag. But Peter needs to be miserable, penniless. Venom can have a kid.
I'm trying to find out how many times have they brought back, like variations of the character, like using Gwen, Spider Gwen, or whatever it is. Well, I couldn't find an answer.
There was the original Clone Saga back in the 70s, when the Jackal brought a clone of Gwen Stacy, but that's about it. Then there was the House of M. And then there was the Spectacular Spider-Man, where they redid it, but this time they were just robots. But I mean, this is the thing. The night Gwen Stacy died, the death of the Stacys. I mean, those are some of my favorite stories.
The night Gwen Stacy died is an absolute classic two-parter. Look,
I got this one. I have this. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man books. Has the death of Captain Stacy and the Goblin's Last Stand. And this was just a great way. The great way of having Peter expand as a character. This was just one of the best Spider-Man stories, period. And now they want to throw it away. I mean, I will buy it, but that's because I want to see how bad it is. It's just one of the things that I have contempt for, because like right now I love right now what's going on in Ultimate Spider-Man. Especially if you've seen the promo art, it's like Richard, and it seems like Richard and Felicia might have a fling, or they might get a crush on each other, because Richard is 15. He says Richard unmasked himself to Felicia, who's the new Black Cat, and she's like, "How old are you?" He's like, I'm 15 and a half. And she's like, what? And they start arguing. He goes, well, how old are you? She's like, I'm 17 and a half. He's like, so you're 16. They're just two teenagers. And so it's like, yeah, Richard, if they want Richard to be the new Venom, Ultimate Venom, he could actually pull it off, because he would want to prove himself to his dad. Like,
as I say, it just feels like they've run out of ideas, doesn't it? To be doing this. Absolutely pointless. Who asked for this, Bandito? Who wants this?
That's what I'm asked. That's what I want to know. Who asked for this? Most likely CB Cebulski or Jeff Lowe. I mean, even all new Venom, the solicitations make it sound like it might be Paul. That's the new host for Venom. I still think it might be Mary Jane who's the new host.
If they make it Paul, I think that would be hilarious. Just piss everybody off even more.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. If it, the like I said, Paul is just Nick Lowe's self-insert. He proved it. He proved himself that he's a better man than Spider-Man. But now Nick Lowe has Al Ewing writing him to be a better host than Eddie Brock and a better father than Eddie Brock. You know what I say about that? So this one that really just grinds my gears with that. I mean, fans have been saying fans have hated him ever since he first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man #1, and they didn't even know him. And after they knew him, they hated him even more.
Yeah.
And after like Spider-Man 950, they dedicated a whole short story. They hated him even more. He's like, "Oh, I had no choice. My daddy destroyed his world because I put him in a cell by himself."
Oh well, good news is next week we've got Ultimate Spider-Man issue 14 coming out. Looking forward to that. Spider-Man versus Craven, Bandito.
And also it's going to be the first interaction between Richard Parker, possibly the new Venom, the Ultimate Venom, and it's going to be the first interaction of the new Black Cat. But like this, I know you don't have a lot of say in the LGBTQ community, neither do I. But my friend Sylph, he is trans, and he also likes to write. Because he's a dungeon master, he likes to create characters. And he says that, and one of the things he told me was that if you only create a character based on their gender or their orientation first, and make it part of their characterization, you're just being lazy. And that just seems to be the problem that DC has been having of late. I don't know if you had this or if you heard this, but the new Secret Six is coming out, and it's not even being written by anybody important. It's being written by an actress.
What is a series or a mini-series or?
Yeah, you remember the first Secret Six? You remember the very first Secret Six comic that came out like a decade ago? It was like during the Villains United arc, during the 52, during 52, and there were basically two series. The first, it was like basically villains being united under, and now they're having a new version coming out, and they're going to have it part of all in DC. But the writer they chose, it's not even. She's not even a writer. Her name is Nicole Maines.
Oh, I know the name. She did. Oh my god, what was it? I have to check. Something very, very forgettable.
Yeah, but this is the thing. She's not a writer. She's an actress. She's mainly an actress. And she played the character that she's going to be writing for in the forgettable Supergirl series that was in the CW. So like, these are, and this is the thing. It's going to one of the things is that I've always said that if you put too much, and if you put like character sexuality in the forefront, it's going to make some fans uncomfortable. Because in this one, she has it. Let me see if they have this part of the interview. Let's see, bottom surgery.
Oh, it's not that story, is it? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Because one of the things she says is that she's going to have a flashback of her having bottom surgery. And I mean, that is. I don't want to hear about that. It's just. I know it can be hard for some trans people to talk about that, but. Do you remember the whole Alan Scott Green Lantern miniseries?
Yeah, I only read the first issue and then didn't really find it, interesting.
Yeah, and like I gotta say, I have to say, okay, I have to say this. I do not have anything to do with get. I do not have any problem with the people of the LGBTQ community. But I mean, one of the things I know, because I have friends within the community, is that they don't want to be treated special. The activists who go on yelling about rights, they want to be treated special. And when I have a friend who just wants to look normal and accepted as a man, or a guy who says he just wants to go walk down the street holding his husband's hand without having people look at him funny, I respect that. But when people say you should treat me differently because I demand you need to treat me differently, that's when I have a problem. I mean, I'm bipolar. I don't demand any special treatment. But I don't want, because the it's just getting too much. And you're pushing. This is one of the things I see in comic books. They're pushing the old fans out, thinking they'll get the new fans in. But Gray, you remember the day Superman, Son of Kal-El, the infamous issue.
Oh yes, yeah, I remember.
It was number 2 in the charts, I believe. But then, the month after, fell down to number 20. That audience doesn't exist.
There's not a big enough audience to, I think, to justify a regular monthly comic to get the sales to keep it going. So that's just the way it is. But it seems like these are going to come out as limited miniseries, even if they're not announced as that in the first place. Like you say, it's not the kind of comic that I think most comic book readers will pick up. But maybe if it's got a good story, maybe they will. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, but we've been seeing like the bloodbath going on, and let's go back to Marvel. The bloodbath is starting to go on in the X-Men office. It was just announced that NYX and X-Force are going to issue number 10 is going to be their last issues.
Yeah, that's right. No surprises there, eh?
No surprises. I mean, we even said this when From the Ashes just launched. They're putting too many series out there. And just focus on the basics. Right now, I know that Jed McKay and surprisingly, Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men is doing really good, and so Jed McKay's X-Men and Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men, those are the top sellers in the X-Men office. I also know like Wolverine's another top seller, but like Phoenix, Storm, I think those are in the 50s, but like Dazzler, not even a blip. X-Force, X-Force, what's that one? NYX, X Factor. I mean, like I even said this, well, you're putting out too much. Just focus on the basics. Uncanny X-Men, X-Force, X Factor, and Wolverine. Just put 5 out at least. And if the demand is there, just put out more. You can put out more. But I think it's like I have no idea.
Out of all the X-Men titles at the moment, what am I actually reading? I tried the last 2 issues of X-Men, went back into it to give it a try. People were saying it was okay, it was good. Returned to form, but it's okay. I've dropped Uncanny, I just seemed to be going nowhere, and I haven't read any of the other, what was it, Nyx or X-Force, Exceptional. There's so many titles, they're just, putting too many titles out.
Sensation. There's Exceptional X-Men, NYX, NYX, X-Force, and
Uncanny,
Phoenix.
I think I just say only Uncanny and X-Men, the 2 main ones. They're the only ones that are kind of selling.
Yeah.
Fairly well, but not that great.
Yeah, they stay in the top 20s at least.
Top 20, yeah.
And it seems like Jed McKay and Gail Simone are basically the workhorse of that office. They're the ones that are pulling the stories together. But I mean, but it's like the Krakoa era all over again. You're giving people too much leeway with the stories to tell. I mean, then we get something as terrible as X-Men Green.
Yeah, I just put that out of my memory. It's I didn't even read it. I just heard about it. I think I started reading it, Bandito, because people, because of the controversy, and it's like, this is just poorly written. So, dropped it.
Yeah. All right, okay. Let's go on for at least like 20 or 30 minutes, and we'll go away from comic books. And have you heard about this? Doctor Who might be shelved after 20 years.
Yeah, I have. By the way, I can only stay on about maybe another 5-10 minutes. I've got things to do this morning. So
all right, so 10 more minutes. Like the Doctor Who, like the current Doctor Who season has been given a lot of flack, mainly because of the constant polarizing views of what's been going on, and basically the team and the actors attacking fans. So basically what they've been doing with Star Trek and Star Wars. So Doctor Who falls in that category now. And it's like there is a rumor of the current Doctor Who, Ncuti Gatwa might be leaving. This might be his last season as Doctor Who, and they aren't sure. The BBC and Disney might be backing off, so Doctor Who may be shelved for the first time in 20 years. Gray, I know can you enlighten us with some of your knowledge of Doctor Who? I know you love the classics.
Yeah, I used to be a fan, especially with the 1970s, 1980s. But when it was relaunched in 2005, it was pretty good for the first few seasons. But then, when was it? Peter Capaldi was when he was a Doctor. I liked him in the part, but their stories, the writing just seemed to be getting worse and worse. And then they cast Jodie Whittaker. It's like the first female Doctor, and I gave that maybe one or two episodes and just wasn't interested. Again, it wasn't because of her; it was because of the writing. The writing just went really off, and then we started to see more and more of what people call the DEI or the message or that kind of thing coming into it, and less science fiction or good storytelling. It became more about the message. It became more about like virtue signaling, and it just boring. So I dropped it. I've only seen one of Ncuti Gatwa's episodes. I watched the first one. I think it might have been a special New Year or Christmas special, and
the Christmas special with David Tennant.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. I watched that because he was coming back. Again, I think it was just a very poorly written episode, which had too much inserting of certain, messages or policies and stuff. They forgot to focus on writing a good story with good characters, and it became more about, what they wanted to, pushing the narrative. So I lost interest. I've not watched any since then. I gave Ncuti Gatwa one episode, and there's like, nah.
So you didn't see the Timeless Children
episode? No. Heard about it. Very, very, very infamous episode.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's when my sister is a big Doctor Who fan. I keep giving her Doctor Who items for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And her birthday. I mean, I even gave her a little license plate that says for her car that says my other vehicle is the TARDIS. But I said that like with the Timeless Children is like, it was one of the biggest retcons that actually just divided the Doctor Who community, and it was like one of those moments like the sequel trilogy or Star Trek Discovery that was the one that divided the fan base.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy. They just rewrote the history. It was Chris Chibnall who was writing it back then. He was writing all the Jodie Whittaker story, well, not all the episodes, but he was in charge. He was running the show, and yeah, I haven't watched it, Bandito, but I heard enough about it to have no interest in them retconning the origin of the Doctor. So basically changing it from a mature white male character to a young black girl. Was it now the first Doctor? I don't know. Not interested.
Well, the first Time Lord. She was basically she had the power of regeneration, and the Time Lords took it from her.
Okay, there you go. You know more than me about it.
Yeah, and that's because I watched Clownfish TV talk about it.
Okay, yeah. I used to listen to Gary, Nerdrotic, talking about it.
Yeah.
Bowles Trek, have you ever heard him? He's quite a funny Canadian YouTuber who used to like Doctor Who, and he makes some very, very funny videos about.
Yeah, I kind of stopped listening to Nerdrotic after 2023 or 2024 because of he got too political for me, and fair enough. I have a big disdain for politics.
Oh, me too. Yeah, hate talking about it. I've got no interest in talking about it on a culture show. Especially
when I stopped when they had Alex Jones on the show, and I'm like, seriously.
At least it was funny. That was entertaining. I thought that show.
But at least hilarious. It was one of the things I'm like, okay, what are you gonna have? Who are you gonna have? Hassan Piker on there next, so you can tell them how much you hate him. Hassan, I don't know. You don't know who Hassan Piker is, but he's a streamer. He's as infamous as Alex Jones, but he just votes for the other side.
Okay, I know the name. That's all. Yeah, yeah.
So, but with Doctor Who, it's going to. I think it might upset some fans, but it will also show what people are going to show that the pendulum is swinging the other way. It's just like, but I gotta ask, who was your favorite Doctor?
Mostly because I started watching it when it was Tom Baker. That was the mid '70s to early 1980s. So I'm a Tom Baker fan.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a crossover between Doctor Who and Star Trek: The Next Generation, released by IDW, and it actually had the Borgs and the those android things. I don't know what they called them. They're not. It was not those robot guys. I mean, I like Doctor Who because the aliens look so cheesy, yet they look so unique, and that's because it started out in the '60s, and it was like it's like I can't believe they can modernize it, fit to the current situation, and it's like but now they just lost the plot. But anyways, hopefully this won't be the last of Doctor Who, but hopefully we will get better Doctor Who. That's all I gotta say is hope. All right, so Gray, we're almost going up to 10 minutes, 10 more minutes, and you got a lot of things to do today. So we're gonna call it here.
Okay.
Now, before you go, is there anything you want to spotlight today for the Geek Spotlight?
No, not really. No, just
No
thanks for having me on. It's been fun catching up, talking
no,
Spider-Man.
yeah, no comics, no upcoming comic books, no upcoming books, nothing.
Nothing really. No, no. I'm still reviewing. I review maybe just one comic a week. That's about it.
Hmm.
Still reading comics, Bandito. Still trying to find good comics out there.
What about? Would you recommend the Grant Morrison Animal Run? Oh, bless you.
Oh, that's better. Wow.
Would you?
Yes, of course. But that's like we're talking old, aren't we? The old days, Grant Morrison. Still
Yeah.
reviewing that with Jim from Weird Science Comics, having fun with that, and Invisibles as well.
All right. So Grant, anything Grant? That's geek. That'll be Gray's Geek Spotlight. The Grant Morrison run of Animal Man and the Invisibles. All right. And as for me, I'm going to go with. As for me, the current my Geek Spotlight this week is going to be the the new the new Godzilla series, Godzilla Heist. That is an incredible series. The first issue just came out, and it's basically like Godzilla meets Ocean's 11. This team of crooks are going to be robbing a casino, but a guy no but they recruit a guy who can basically use you put out a signal and have Godzilla attack that signal, and he'll use it to rob casinos. So they have him who will cause Godzilla attack to basically put out that signal, have Godzilla attack it, and through all the confusion, they'll go in and rob the casino. It is just brilliant.
Is it
So,
good? You recommend
yeah,
it, do you?
yeah, I recommend
Okay.
it. And also, just like last year, one of my favorite comic books was Godzilla Skater Dive, which was basically Godzilla and Tony Hawk. All
What a
right,
combination.
yeah. All right, so thank you, Gray, for helping me. Domo arigato. And everybody, thank you for watching. I'm Bandito Bane. He's Wakasashi Gray. Thank you. Now keep playing and God bless.